What does a relationship look like between a Type 7 enthusiast and a Type 3 achiever? Well, let's start off by talking about a few things they have in common. Threes and sevens have so much in common that they actually mistype as each other all the time. They're both energetic, charismatic, and surprisingly pragmatic despite their fun-loving demeanor. This is definitely the couple that makes you envy their shared Instagram profile because whether it's working hard or playing hard, they just look like they're crushing life 24/7. Now, in speaking from personal experience, this is the couple you meet at a casual barbecue and they're just so filled with charm and enthusiasm that you kind of get sucked into their orbit, and then before you know it, you're at a karaoke bar at 2 a.m. and you can't remember how you got there. Oh, and the next morning, before you've even had time to nurse that hangover, the 3-7 couple's already up and at 'em. In fact, they got up early to go on a sunrise hike before getting the house ready to host a friend's birthday party. They're actually really exhausting people to be around, and yet you can't help but love them. Now, one Enneagram theory that can help explain this high-octane relationship is what's known as the Hornevian triad, which describes the general way each Enneagram type gets what they want out of their social interactions. Threes and sevens are both assertive types, meaning they believe it's their job to keep the party, the project, or the relationship going, because socially speaking, offering more of their energy typically results in getting more of what they want. Now, threes want to be seen as impressive or competent individuals, and sevens, much like girls, just want to have fun. Now, while sevens aren't as concerned with social prestige as threes, and threes aren't as concerned with being entertained as sevens, these parallel motives often lead them to each other's desired outcome. Essentially, the three's success can allow the seven to participate in some pretty unique experiences, and the seven can catalyze unique experiences that enhance the three's image. So, from their individual ego's perspective, it's a real win-win. Now, on the less healthy side of things, the 3-7 couple is a double whammy when it comes to avoiding the darker side of life. So things like conflict, sorrow, or trauma are often downplayed, if not totally ignored, because they don't enhance the 3's image, and they certainly don't fuel the 7's fun. I'll talk more about this when we get to the section on conflict, but for now, it's just important to know that the endless energy or constant activity of the 3-7 couple can be fueled by their noble intentions as much as it can be fueled by their broken heart. But for better or worse, the 3-7 pairing is often one of the most attractive or impactful couples you'll ever meet, thanks to their unparalleled charisma mixed with this unique ability to make the most out of every opportunity in life. All right, that's enough about the shared traits of 3s and 7s, which means it's time to zoom in on what specifically attracts a Type 3 achiever to the Type 7 enthusiast and vice versa. Enneagram 3s are highly image-conscious folks, and while that can make them look like polished professionals, it can also make it difficult for them to fully disconnect from their work. After all, how can you maintain a stellar reputation if you're not constantly performing with excellence or answering emails on vacation? Well, if there's one type that can really help the 3 log off and undo a couple shirt buttons, it's the Type 7 enthusiast. 7s are great at convincing the 3 to hit pause on their never-ending to-do list and indulge in some much-needed playtime. However, since 3s do prize a stellar reputation, it really helps if the 7 has a successful career of their own, as that prevents the 3 from disregarding the 7's childlike playfulness as just a lack of stress due to a lack of responsibility. Fortunately, the average 7 can be incredibly industrious, and 3s are often very impressed by how effective the 7 is with so little time and so few resources. 7s can also be effective socially because they know a little bit about a lot of different things, which when mixed with their infectious enthusiasm and sense of humor makes them a perfect +1 for the 3's jam-packed social calendar. Lastly, 3s appreciate how independent the 7 is because it alleviates the guilt they may feel during their busy seasons of life, like if they have to travel or put in extra hours at the office. 7s actually relish their personal freedom and are a bit like camels when it comes to quality time, as a little bit often goes a long way. So even if the hustle and bustle of the 3 creates a desert of emotional intimacy, the 7 isn't really that bothered. Although that's partially due to the fact that both 7s and 3s have some trouble getting in touch with their heart center, but we'll talk more about that when we get to the section on conflict. At the end of the day though, 7s are great partners when it comes to riding the waves created by the 3's bustling career and or vibrant social life. And on that note, it's time to switch gears and talk about what attracts the 7 to the Type 3 achiever. In my personal opinion, the 7's attraction to the 3 is really determined by their wing, meaning a 7 wing 8 will likely be attracted to a 3 for very different reasons than a 7 with a strong 6 wing. Now, both subtypes will undoubtedly love the 3's ability to go with their flow, as 3's take pride in being highly adaptable folks that can handle whatever party the 7 brings to them, be it the dancing on tabletops kind of party or the curated wine tasting kind. But where the 7's wings do create a vastly different attraction to the 3 is in regards to their preferred lifestyle. 7-wing 8s are nicknamed the realist, as the 8-wing makes the 7 far more concerned with efficiency, material possessions, and experiences like starting their own business, or rather, businesses. So what makes the 3 attractive to this subtype in particular is their assertive, highly capable, and success-oriented mindset that pairs perfectly with the 7-wing 8's entrepreneurial spirit. The more socially savvy 3 is also great at helping the 7-wing 8 become a bit more sensitive in their approach to working with others, as 3's are natural team leaders that know how to keep people motivated whenever the 7-wing 8 might be close to burning them out. Okay, now for the 7-wing 6. This subtype is nicknamed the entertainer, as they're more focused on having a good time with a good group of people. The 7-wing 6 also tends to be far less materialistic, a bit more childish, and often unconcerned with, or at least unmotivated by, career prestige. Now, if we take a look at the Type 3 Achievers' movement of integration, you'll see that they can behave much like a Type 6 loyalist when they feel secure. Essentially, integrated 3's stop trying to impress people with their unique skills or polished personality, and instead, they relate to people via their authentic emotions or their true self. While this should be attractive to any healthy person, the 7 in particular loves meeting the 3 in this Type 6 space because it creates an incredibly engaging and deeply committed relationship where the 7 feels safe tapping into more than just their positive emotions and exciting thoughts. Lastly, 3's, and especially those with a 2-wing, are one of the few Enneagram types capable of keeping up with the 7-wing 6's relentlessly extroverted energy, which then makes the 7 feel like they have found the perfect lifelong playmate. Alright, those are just a few things that attract the Type 7 enthusiast to the Type 3 achiever. Time to shift gears and talk about what conflict looks like for this pairing. Hey there, friend. Looks like you're a little more than halfway through this Enneagram relationship episode, which means it's a great time to not only watch this fancy little neon graphic float off into the distance, but to hit those like and subscribe buttons, you know? You know what I mean? You know those buttons that are sitting right there? Don't be coy, you know where they are. You know, if you're feeling non-committal, you can just hit the like button. It's still really helpful. Okay, let's get back to it. Most of the conflict in the 3-7 relationship is caused by this buildup of restless energy that stems from their mutual avoidance of negative or painful stimulus. 3's typically avoid painful emotions, while 7's avoid painful thoughts. And so together, they create this shame-anxiety cocktail that can poison the relationship if left unchecked. This pattern can also be explained by the triad centers, which are the head, the heart, and the body or gut center. Now, this gets pretty nuanced pretty fast, but the general takeaway for this couple is that the average 3 is very afraid of what an open, honest heart will do to their reputation. And the average 7 is afraid of what a slow, quiet mind will do to their enjoyment of life. So the 3 decides to live primarily in this functioning mode, with a never-ending to-do list of goals for the day. And the 7 decides to keep the mind revved up by constantly jumping from one stimulating activity to the next. Now, if tension starts to rise in this relationship, then these behaviors become increasingly self-centered, as the 3 wants to protect their image from the 7's childish behavior, and the 7 wants to protect their joy from the 3's stifling career hustle. To make things worse is the fact that neither type wants to confront their relational issues head on. This dynamic can be explained by the harmonic triad, which groups each Enneagram type based on the way they cope with painful situations. 3's are in the competency group, while 7's are in the positive outlook group. So when conflict breaks out between these types, you have one person that just wants to focus on the things that feel manageable, and one person that just wants to focus on the things that feel good. Ultimately, a big red flag for this couple is when the 3 starts to worry that their relationship makes them look like a failure, or the 7 starts to feel like they're trapped in a joyless commitment. If these concerns continue to go unaddressed, then this couple is either headed for a supernova-like ending as all that suppressed anxiety in the 7 collides with all that suppressed emotion in the 3, or they'll just kind of slowly drift apart by investing themselves in other people or projects that consume their time and attention. As Helen Palmer puts it, there's a conspiracy to let each other do his or her own thing, rather than using each other as allies in a shared pursuit of personal growth. And speaking of personal growth, it's time to wrap things up with just a little relationship advice that may help my 3-7 couples have a healthier future together. The first piece of advice I'd give a 3-7 couple is to make a habit out of slowing down and getting present with each other. This means taking breaks from all the exciting or productive tasks that fill your schedule and instead spending some unhurried time together. That probably won't feel natural, easy, or even enjoyable at first, but learning to slow down together will eventually help you make space to have some necessary conversations about what's really going on inside you or how you'd like to improve the relationship. These intentional moments where you're fully focused on each other will also help prevent you from slowly drifting apart, like I just mentioned in the previous section. Something else that may help this couple have a healthier relationship is to reevaluate their friend group. 3s and 7s are often so much fun to be around that they attract people who are more concerned with keeping the good times going than they are with making healthy life choices. So what this couple really needs are a few mature, grounded friends who love them enough to check in and make sure that all that running around isn't just them running away from something they'd rather not deal with. And I understand that finding or cultivating these kind of authentic relationships may be super difficult for this duo because both 3s and 7s train people to see them as either the source of their entertainment or the source of their motivation. So there's often a justifiable fear that they're going to lose all that fun-loving or affirming attention if they reveal their struggles with sorrow, anxiety, or depression. This is why it might be a good move for both partners to find a safe space, like with a therapist, where they can begin to freely process their dark side before testing the waters with their current friends and family. Oh, and one last thing to be wary of in this process is this couple's tendency to look for a quick fix. Both 3s and 7s love themselves a shortcut, so they're super prone to getting swept up in a moment of clarity or excitement because they went on an amazing couples retreat, or they had an intense breakthrough therapy session and now boom, everything is magically fixed. Sadly, there's no quick fix for relational dysfunction, and there's certainly no secret hack to healing trauma or reconciling major differences in your core values. So both partners better make sure that the other person is willing and worth the effort it takes to sustain a healthy long-term commitment. But with that said, there is one quick way to understand this relationship dynamic on a much deeper level, and that's with the incredibly accurate, potentially life-changing YGAT relationship rating system. First up on the YGAT relationship rating system is the spice meter, and the 3-7 pairing is about as hot as they come, so I'm gonna put them almost all the way up at a 9 out of 10. And the only reason they're not a full 10 out of 10 is because there's one other Enneagram pairing that I think is more spicy than this. But alas, you'll have to watch the other episodes to find out which. Okay, next up is the power meter. And while this is definitely a productive couple, the 7 is typically too unfiltered and fun-loving to let the 3's ambition take them all the way to the White House. So let's go with about an 8 out of 10. Although if it's a 3 with a really focused 7-wing 8, then this couple could definitely have the energy and efficiency necessary to be a full 10 out of 10. Last up on the YGAT relationship rating system is the fun meter, and this is where the 3-7 couple really shines, as they are without a doubt a 10 out of 10 full-on 90s spring break levels of fun. Man, those were the good old days. Or were they pretty problematic? Oh, what can I say? I'm a nostalgic guy. That's a wrap on this Enneagram relationship episode for the Type 3 Achiever with a Type 7 Enthusiast. If you're jumping off here, then I'll say thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, then please do me a favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons for me on your way out. But hey, if you're sticking around for more Enneagram goodness, then I have got plenty of relationship-themed content for you to choose from right here on the screen, as well as some more lighthearted content if you need a break. Take your pick.